Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Grand Tactician, the Civil War, a upcoming Civil War grand strategy and tactical war game, which allows you to play as either the Union or the Confederates, where you make key strategic decisions such as raising armies, assigning commanders, picking domestic and foreign policy selections from a policy screen. And then when two armies actually meet each other, you get to go ahead and fight tactical battles. So it's a really interesting Civil War game that is currently in early access on Steam, but it actually leaves early access on the 24th, so just a couple days away, and enters sort of its 1.0 release. So we are playing as the Union, and it is November 1861 of our series. We've just won a battle in the Shenandoah Valley where the Confederates came at us yet again. We have the Army of the Valley under Major General John Kenly just won a battle, but much to probably his dismay, we have taken the army from him and transferred his soldiers to Major General Robert Patterson's troops who just arrived from West Virginia. We have assigned Major General, or I guess Colonel George Sykes, his brigade to this command, about 1,500 soldiers. And then we also assigned Major John Barnard's artillery battery, but Kenly's units were pretty shot up, and so we did end up taking some of the units out of there. Crittenden no longer has a division, so he's going to go away. And then we are transferring some of those additional troops out to New York with the intention of really kind of amping up our operations. I think they're in New York. Good Lord, where are they? Are they still down in North Carolina? Where the hell are these guys? I think they might actually, maybe they're actually at sea. Yeah, they're at sea. But we're going to transfer them to Major General Orris Ferry's command, who has about 7,400 troops now, but he will have about 10,000 soldiers once these troops arrive. And so Brigadier General George McCall, who had a division under Kenly in the Valley, and then Colonel John Abercrombie, as well as the 8th Battery of Artillery, are all going to join, and we're going to sort of split Ferry's command out into 2 divisions, and that way we'll have a 2-division force of about 10,000 men for coastal raids. Now, these guys just successfully took Fort Macon in North Carolina off the Hatteras Inlet, and they also now command the port across the way at Moorhead, and so we are rebuilding the garrison there. We have assigned a brigade of troops to Fort Macon, and we really should give these guys better weapons since they are going to be in a garrison and they are going to be isolated. We should give them better weapons than reboard muskets, I think. So it does look like our industry has started to produce new weapons. It's been a little while since we've seen more Springfield rifled muskets, but we do have 4 new units worth of Springfield rifle muskets, and then 3 options for the smoothbore 1842 Springfield musket. But we're going to go with the Springfield rifle musket for these guys so that they've got kind of the best weapon that's available to us right now. Meanwhile, my goal for the next amphibious assault, I'm not 100% sure. I was thinking Norfolk to kind of help seal off the Virginia coast and support our drive south back down toward Richmond. But my other thoughts, sprung to, you could do Charleston. There's definitely forts there, although I don't actually see any. There were earlier in the game. Fort Sumter was definitely a thing. I'm looking along the coast. I'm looking for more forts, and I don't. There's one at Pickens. We could go for Pensacola, but there is actually a Florida State Militia force down there, so we may not want to do that. I mean, we could make a play for New Orleans too. That's another option. We've got 10,000 soldiers there. That might be enough to drop some troops down on New Orleans. Yeah, I don't see a lot of Confederate forts down here. So, New Orleans might not be a bad idea. So we have to think about that. Is it possible there's forts there? I just don't see them because I don't have recon there or something? I'm not sure. We'll have to take a look. But either way, we're gonna let them rest and recoup a little bit. We're gonna sort of rebuild the Atlantic Squadron, which did lose, I think, 3 or 4 ships in the bombardment, and so we'll prepare our next strike against the Confederates. Meanwhile, this turn may be kind of more of a rearmament turn, or not turn, but episode. I am going to go ahead and we did get some more artillery, so I'm going to keep the 24-pound artillery, the 3-inch ordnance rifles, the 12-pound Napoleons. I like all the, okay, actually, never mind. All these artillery units in the Union Army of the Potomac are pretty darn good. I think a 12-pound howitzer makes sense for a field gun for a cavalry unit. But we do have another 12-pound Napoleon and 14-pound James rifle as options for artillery for our troops. So let's take a look at some of our other armies and see what artillery might need to be upgraded. So if we go to the Department of Pennsylvania, we've got 24-pound howitzers, 12-pound howitzers, 12-pound field guns, 3-inch ordnance rifles. And basically, I'm just looking for the 6-pound field guns that I want to replace. We could go to Buell's army, which has about 35,000 soldiers. These are 6-pound field guns, 6-pound field guns, 3-inch ords, and 12-pound howitzers. So let's get rid of these 6-pound field guns. Let's give them some James rifles. Okay, and then we can go with, I think, the 12-pound howitzer. So 12-pound howitzer, James rifle, 3-inch ord, 12-pound howitzer. So that's a good breakout for Buell's artillery. And then we can go ahead and look at Grant's force, if I can find where he is. Actually, no, it was Buell. Sorry, that was in West Virginia. Grant's force, the Army of the Cumberland in northeastern Tennessee or Kentucky. He's just got a 24-pound howitzer and a 6-pound field gun, so we'll give him the 6-pound field gun. We'll upgrade to Napoleons. And then let's upgrade some of his smoothbore units to Springfield rifled muskets. Certainly get rid of mixed muskets. Those things suck. So Grant is now completely armed with Springfield rifled muskets. And his cavalry has Smith carbines. So we've already upgraded our cavalry to carbine weapons. I'm curious to see how that factors in combat. The mixed weapons were kind of garbage. What does Buell have, by the way? Springfield smoothbores. His entire command is just smoothbore muskets? Oh, God. I mean, is it worth upgrading them to rebore muskets? I've heard that rebored muskets are better. They definitely have better range, but I don't fully understand the standardization. But as I understand it, they have much better range than smoothbores. But I think we'll leave Buell as is. So I'm wondering if the next battle may be in West Virginia. So it is winter right now, and you can see here that our troops in the valley are technically in winter quarters, and then definitely the Army of the Potomac is in winter quarters here. You've even got the little icon there. But if you take a look here at the Army of the Ohio, they are in winter quarters as well. They have 35,000 troops. There is an Army of the Shenandoah here, about 6,700 troops, that has invaded West Virginia. West Virginia has left the Confederacy and joined the Union, so we have a new state here in West Virginia. And we have a force here that's remaining in West Virginia to hold it for the Union. But we do have a Confederate force much smaller than our own, which does appear to be advancing into West Virginia. So I guess we'll have to see how they do. Maybe we'll send Buell's 35,000 after them. Meanwhile, Grant is moving further south in Kentucky. And Sumner is building his force. Are these guys all 6-pounders as well? Do we use all those other guns up yet? I guess the question is if there's any like mixed muskets, then it would make sense to replace those, I think. So the mixed muskets have a range of 250 with, I'm assuming, bad standardization. We might as well upgrade them to Springfield muskets, I think. 250 range, 2.5 a minute, 100 standardization versus 84 for the rebore. So the rebore have 150 yards more range. But I don't know. The rebore. My issue with the rebore is they're kind of supposed to like just represent random weapons that are not like army issue or that have been rebored at some point, but they're not like they're all different calibers and things like that. So the quartermaster in me says you keep uniformity. So I'll keep these 3 brigades here under Sherman's division with rebores because that's uniform across the entire division. And then the 1st and the 2nd divisions will have the Springfields. And this force, the Army of the Kentucky. And then the Department of the West, 6,000 men. What are you guys sporting? Yeah, I'm okay with that. Okay. Meanwhile, we probably should raise at least one more unit in St. Louis just in case. So let's go ahead and raise one more infantry brigade in St. Louis. They can be Kansas troops because they have really high morale. They'll be 24-month troops. We don't have draft. Do we have draftees unlocked? I'm not going to draft anyway. Yeah, I don't see draftees unlocked, so I wouldn't have the soldiers to use them. We'll do 2,200 soldiers, and we'll do French blue. And then we'll go with Springfield muskets. So we have a second brigade of troops here to give us about 4,000 troops at St. Louis. And then William Harney's division, or army, is going to go ahead and continue pursuing the Missouri State Guard. It is winter, but I'm feeling winter will be less penalized in Missouri than in Virginia. I could be wrong. Also, one other thing that we may end up seeing soon is we may end up seeing a naval battle here with the New Orleans Squadron. So our river squadron, which is currently under construction at Cairo, Illinois, we have 4 timber-clad gunboats, the USS Tecumseh, the Lexington, the THG, and the Cairo. We also have the General Scott Champion, Black Hawk, and Alfred Robb. All of those are tin-clad gunboats, so they do have a little bit of armor. They're at 83% completion, so once they're all done, we'll have 8 warships. The enemy has brought a squadron up from New Orleans. They may be ocean-going because they did come up from New Orleans. There are 6 of the ships, but they only have 24 guns. They only have 16 guns. We'll have 24, and one of their ships is disabled. Now, if they have like a heavy ironclad ram, that could be a problem, but we need to try and close the river down to them, and right now they've besieged us in Cairo, so I want to stop that. Also, because it does seem like some of their ships have gone up the Ohio River and are like blockading Evansville and things like that. So I don't know. I haven't seen any other squadrons up here, but I need to make sure that we keep the rivers clear for Union commerce. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump forward and see what happens. All right, so the Army of the Northwest is withdrawing. Department of the Valley should probably just go away. That leaves us with just the Department of Pennsylvania here. 13,000 soldiers under Patterson. Actually up to almost 19,000 once their casualties are replaced. How do I, like, get rid of you? You don't have any troops, Curtin. You're just superfluous. It says they're awaiting orders. They're encamped, while the Army of the Potomac is in winter quarters. So we could send them south. They'd have the advantage in numbers as long as they don't get drawn into the Army of the Potomac down there. But I think we'll leave these guys as it is for now. Any indication of what the Army of the Shenandoah is doing? Are they just staying in place? Looks like it. Okay, Union issues bonds, so we need to issue more debt. 9% interest rate. James Ward. All right, so your fleet. Are we building another fort? Or is this a rebel fort that's being built? Anyway, Fort Macon is up to 11% now. Ward has arrived off the coast of the Chesapeake, and the coastal army is still withdrawing north. Okay, so I didn't get any choices for the Lincoln affair, but it says Lincoln backs down, so that prevents the war with Great Britain. I don't know if that was like a Confederate action. Meanwhile, Colonel Palmer is exchanged. So I guess there was a Colonel Palmer that was captured. And then our fleet has arrived at New York. It's the end of the month, so we're into December. And it does seem like things have kind of calmed down a little bit here in December, which is nice. It's good to see the AI maybe respecting sort of the intelligent thing to do in the winter is not to like go charging forth. And so right now our politics, we are working on diplomacy, which we're 11 days away from. I would like to unlock the ability to make cores. So we may go with military 2 here, which allows the creation of independently operating corps, so we can really build the Army of the Potomac as it was. Right now we're just stuck using divisions, which are pretty inefficient. We've got 3 infantry divisions and a cavalry division so far. Do we have more weapons yet? We've got 1 more Springfield rifled musket. I'm going to wait for that diplomacy to go through, and then I'm going to see if we get import options from Europe for better weapons. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. 9 blockades? Hampton, which I know because that's across from the Fort Sumter and Fort Monroe. Cairo is where the Ironclads are. Evansville is on the river. Alexandria, Annapolis, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Cape May, Moorhead. These are all blockaded? By what, sir? By what? The hell's blockading these guys? Is it the James River Squadron? Could that be the Virginia? What are their orders anyway? Patrol. How does patrol work again? Okay. Well, maybe we should blockade. What ships do we have here? We've got a sailing sloop, I'm assuming, a steamship, 7 guns, timber, USS Constitution. Dear Lord, I don't want to lose her. She shouldn't even be at sea. Decatur and Anacostia. So we could change some of these ships out for other ships that are in port. So let's bring the Savannah down, a 9-gun steam sloop. Let's get the well, let's leave old Ironsides in. Who knows? Steam frigate, the USS Wabash, USS Franklin. I don't have the monitor yet, right? Yeah, she's 57% complete, not completed yet. All right, so we're going to have the flying flotilla be reinforced by 2 steam sloops, 2 steam frigates, and a sloop of war. Should give us a considerable amount of additional firepower. And then we'll give them patrol orders to hopefully get whoever's raiding our coast. Meanwhile, the Atlantic blockading squadron needs to be reinforced. So right now they've got USS Minnesota, USS Roanoke, St. Lawrence, the Congress, the Dale, and the Jamestown. All of these are ships operating from the low 90s to low 80s in terms of readiness. We're going to add the... What do we want to add here to these guys? Steam sloop USS Mississippi. Is a sloop of war steam powered? No, she's sailing. So a bunch of these ships are still sailing frigates, so we might as well add the Brandywine then. Potomac. And then if I'm going to use these guys as like bombarding ships, like why not the ships of the line if we're going to go for like Norfolk? They've got a crap ton of guns on them. You'd think that would be useful on a bombardment. That'll give us 174 guns. Or firepower of 140. Not particularly maneuverable. They're all sailing ships. Or many of them are. Alright, let's see if the ships sail up the Chesapeake. Oh shit, they're bombarding, aren't they? Oh god. The Pensacola. Get out of there, boys. Ah! Battle of Hampton Roads ended with us retreating. Oh, we fought an enemy fleet. Was it the Virginia? So we retreated. Yeah, I wonder if that was the Virginia. It doesn't give me any information there. It just tells me that we were defeated. So we're going to pull back. Which may mean the Confederates may have... Where the hell are you going anyway? Really? Your port's down here? Okay. Six ships disabled. By the way, Commander Ward, you're getting canned. You lost a ship. Apparently a bunch of your ships weren't even with you yet. You sailed in there and got trounced. David Glasgow Farragut, you're our new commander. Okay, I mean, we're kind of moving at this point through the winter without too much going on. Which is deliberate. I know it's not super exciting right now, but we shouldn't be fighting a lot of battles in the winter. It's not terribly smart. I'm assuming the Rebs aren't doing a whole lot either. It doesn't seem like they are. All right, let's actually do this. King Cotton policy selected. So the Rebs just enacted another King Cotton policy. Meanwhile, all of our ships at Cairo on the Mississippi are ready for action. 48 guns, 8 ships, 4 tin clads, 4 timber clads, 33 firepower. The Confederates have 23 guns, so about half the number of guns. They've been at sea for 34 days and they only have 6 ships. Let's hope they don't have an ironclad. Let's move south and try and break the blockade. Fleet orders. Stance is offensive. God damn it. So the Battle of Tennessee River ended with the River Squadron retreating. The engagement was desperate and we were thoroughly outgunned. Well, we were defeated. Where did they go? What? The Federal River Squadron has disintegrated. The sailors have scuttled their ships. The fleet ceased to exist as an effective... Oh my God! What? And the Confederates own the rivers. What? I spent all that time. I'm confused here because it still shows these tin-clad gunboats or timber-clad gunboats and tin-clad. It says they're returning to harbor, so I don't think they all got sunk. The fleet may have just been destroyed. Man, we're issuing a lot of frickin' bonds. We are massively in debt. All right, let's give it another day. Import deals for weapons agreed. European rifles available. U.S. import relations improve. All right, so diplomacy level 1 is done. That's good. Let's go back to the military section here. It still says they're returning to port, huh? What if we create a new port or a new fleet at St. Louis? Interestingly enough, though, Cairo's a better port. Oh, no, it's the same. All right, so St. Louis. We'll build a fleet there. And it does look like some of the ships that we had that were defeated are still available to us. So we've got the Timberclad Cairo, the USS Lexington, Alfred Robb, the Champion. Those are all available to us, so those are 4. And then I guess the rest of the ships are gone? I'm confused why those don't classify as river going, but whatever. So these are river as well. Sea and river. I don't know what a ship tender gunboat is, but let's give these ships also. So we'll add 2 4th-rate steamers. Not sure if they have to sail up the Mississippi and if that'll fail or what, but so these guys are at 100% condition. It does say they're barely afloat. So I think these guys are on the way, but the other 4 ships are already there. So we lost about half our fleet, which is better than losing the whole fleet, I suppose. How the hell am I going to defeat these enemy ships? What else can I build here? I can do an Ironclad river gunboat. Requires a level 2 port. Tinclad is 1. I don't really know if it'll let me build this here or not, but I'm going to try and build 2 of these things. They look big and expensive. I didn't really look at the price. It says it's going to take 3 months to build. How expensive were they again? So the Ironclad River gun, the Tinclad gunboats are 720 ammo versus 4,000 ammunition. 400 provisions versus 700, 54 coal versus 12 in terms of the resources they're using, 31 naval artillery versus 12, 273 machine parts versus 61, 460 iron versus 271, 2,000 wood versus 1,800. Okay. 168 price versus 110. So actually it's not as expensive as I would have thought. It does say they are very large. Yeah, I guess we'll see. We are working on very large Ironclads in St. Louis, Missouri. Meanwhile, it looks like some of those other ships have arrived. We're down to 4 disabled ships instead of 5. So one of those side wheel ships arrived. We keep issuing bonds like mad. Oh, by the way, I need to pick a new policy. Okay, so we did Diplomacy 1. Diplomacy 2 allows us to do Enfield musketoons and more money for subsidies. I don't want to do that. Let's do level 2 military. Meanwhile, our finances, wealth below average. Ooh. B+ credit rating. 262 million in debt. I've increased the debt by 100 million in just like the last 3 months, just since this like episode started. I really need. Anyway, let's go back to our armies here. The Army of the Cumberland, I think they have a. That's the wrong army. The Army of the Cumberland under Grant. They have all good weapons. Rifled muskets. Yeah, they all have rifled muskets. We have better artillery options now, but. So Grant doesn't need more weapons, but Sumner might need better weapons. He's using all Springfield muskets. So, oh my God, look at all those Enfield rifled muskets. I kind of personally like the Lorenz. I've got like this weird appreciation for it. So we've got 4 more Springfield rifles, and then we also can import Enfield rifled muskets from England, and then Lorenz rifles from Austria. I don't really know how imports work, but we're going to go with Enfields for all of our Springfield muskets here. I could probably borderline equip the entire military with Enfields with the amount that we have here in surplus. Now, I'm not sure. Again, I don't fully understand the standardization thing. I think it actually has an impact on how much you produce locally. So, like, if you rely a lot more on foreign weapons, it impacts your industry or something like that. But we're going to equip Sumner's entire force with Enfield rifled muskets. And then let's get rid of those 6-pound field guns. But like, why have it 10-pound parrots? Those are production. So I don't really understand. Okay, we'll go with 10-pound Parrott rifles. 3-inch ordnance rifles. And then 1 battery of Napoleons for your artillery. Do more carbine options? No. Okay, so that's Sumner's force. And then we need to upgrade the troops in Missouri as well, because I'm pretty sure they're all using junk. So we're going to upgrade you guys to the, and these both have a 400-yard range, 3 rounds a minute. Even the price is almost the same. Okay, so you're going to go, I'm just going to standardize the entire army with Enfield rifled muskets, those 2 brigades, and we're good there. Also, the troops in Mississippi or St. Louis, they both have Springfield muskets, but we might as well give them Enfields since we can. In the event they fight, they'll have better weapons. And then we should also equip the troops in the coastal army with better weapons. So the troops for those coastal operations. Presumably this is going to cost a lot of money. We're just going to go with the standardization approach. So like one of them already had rifled muskets, but I don't care. I want everything standardized in this force. Then you've got 6-pound field guns. So you can do Napoleons, and then I'm going to leave these guys with 6-pound field guns because I only have 4 guns, so I don't want to waste that on a 12-pound howitzer unit. Okay, so I think that's everybody. And then I think what I'm also going to do is I'm going to raise one more division of troops for McClellan. So we're going to do one more infantry division. We're going to, is Ennis Palmer famous? He's a rising star. So we could go with, we have multiple brigadier generals available for division command. We have Daniel Tyler's dead, so we don't have him. Philip St. George Cook is also dead. But Sylvester Churchill just recently returned from being wounded. Granted, he's 78, but he's very popular. Or we could go with John Wool, who is actually very good at leadership and administration. He's a much better officer all around, and he's famous. He's got the fame icon going for him. So we'll assign him to the division command. And then we're going to go ahead and raise 3 new brigades of infantry. We'll do a main brigade here. We'll give them, I don't want to give them Confederate grade. That's probably a bad idea. Sky blue. Why not? 2,200 men. We did a main brigade. We'll do we've already got a bunch of, let's do some Massachusetts boys. They'll get French blue. Because we've already done a bunch of New Yorkers. We have a lot of Massachusetts troops. Firebrand abolitionists, probably. Alright, so that gives us another division, which we could bring in an extra battery of artillery. I usually do 1 battery per division. We actually have 4 batteries, though. Plus the battery for the cavalry here. So how many guns does it give us? 57? Extra battery would be nice, but again, if I'm staying consistent with my OOB, there's 3 here and a 4th here, so that's 4 batteries. 5th for the cavalry, so we should be good there. Let's go ahead and equip these guys with weapons. We're going to do Springfield rifled muskets. We have 7 of those in stock, and I think everybody in this force has rifled muskets. Oh, no, they don't. All right, well, one of these brigades is still using Springfield muskets, the 1842s. Found another one. Ye gasp. Everybody's got to be upgraded to the Springfield rifle musket. Uniformity across all weapons categories. Okay. So that's good. That'll be an extra 6,600, almost 6,700 troops. Sorry, almost 6,000. Yeah, almost. No, it'll be 675. So 6,750 more infantry will be joining the ranks. Some of these brigades are, all of these have been kind of condensed from other units that were eliminated, so we're good there. In terms of the commanders, like who do we have as good colonels? Ennis Palmer's pretty popular. His initiative's not great, but he's famous, so we'll assign him. Nathan Kimball. He's not bad. Why are all the commanders who I know, like historically, why are they all lieutenants? Every one of them is pretty much a lieutenant. Where the hell are they anyway? John Pope. Good old illustrious John Pope. Rufus King, he was a division commander. He's not famous or good according to the game. Gouverneur Warren here. We'll give him one of the brigades. Happiness was not his command or his companion, huh? Where is Howard? Is he already commanding somewhere? Must have assigned him. Or is he just not liked? I don't know. Either way, it won't let me choose Howard. Could go with Pope. I don't even know, like, who the hell should we be picking? John Sedgwick, Uncle John, we'll give you command of a brigade. So we've got Sedgwick, Warren, and Palmer in Wool's division. All 2-year troops, by the way, so that's good news because, in theory, a good chunk of our troops are only a few months away from going home. I don't think it works that way. I think you just get attrition, and then, like, some of them will re-up. But we'll see. Anyway, that's going to bring our force up to 34,000 once those brigades are raised, and actually 41,000 once our disabled troops return to us, plus a further 14,000, almost 20,000 in the Valley under Major General Robert Patterson. To that end, because the enemy has concentrated such forces here, let's make 3 more infantry brigades under Crittenden, so he'll get another chance here with troops. So we'll do another Massachusetts brigade, and then I think a Maryland brigade and a New Hampshire brigade, all in the French blue. And then we'll equip them with, let's give these boys Lorenz Rifles. They're shorter. They almost look like cavalry weapons or like a carbine. You can see they're much shorter in terms of their length. 6.8 pounds. The Springfield is 7 pounds. The caliber of the Springfield is .58. Caliber of the Lorenz is .54. An Austrian muzzle-loading rifled musket available for import, reliable and accurate, but without translated manuals, difficult for the Americans to use efficiently or effectively. Huh. Well, that doesn't sound great. Accuracy's mediocre. But, like, I like they put this thing in here for the Enfield rifle. That it's accurate and widely available to import, but requires proper training to adjust the sights. That's actually a really good call out because the Enfield rifled musket had sights that were designed to fire on a parabolic trajectory, almost like artillery or like a howitzer, where you would shoot the weapon up vertically and then it would plunge down into the ranks when it hit the target. It was not designed to be shot straight on sight because of the way that these really heavy lead balls flew with these relatively inefficient powdered weapons. You didn't want to shoot straight at a target, and so the British were very well trained. I actually did a book review of a buddy of mine who wrote a book on this. He wrote a book on the British rifle schools, basically the British marksmanship schools at this time, and how they trained their soldiers to fight, and they used them very effective in the Crimea. I don't think the Americans ever really got the hang of using the Enfield because it's not how they fired the Springfield. It's not how the Springfield was designed to be used, and it's not how they used it. But essentially, the British used their rifles as like long-range artillery. They could fire very effective at long range with the Enfield rifle, but it required a different type of training than people were used to with smooth bore muskets or with most of the other weapons with the sights that the Enfield had. And so, to my knowledge, the Americans never used those sights to be fired the way that they were intended. But the British did demonstrate very effectively how they could be used at vast ranges in the Crimea. Anyway, we're going to go with Lorenz Rifles here. So it looks like it's saying the Enfield, which, by the way, the Enfield had a storied history in the Civil War and was used very effectively. Just wasn't used to its full potential, I don't think. Anyway, Austrian weapons here, the Lorenzes are assigned. And so that'll give another 6,700 troops to Patterson, who will have a pretty damn impressive force of his own when the spring comes. 21,000 plus another 5,000 disabled. So he'll have about 26,000 there, while McClellan will have upwards of 41,000, almost 42,000. So between the two forces, 42 and 26, we'll have an army in the east of about, oh my God, I can't do math, 68,000 men. I don't know what the rebels or what the AI is going to raise against us. If we go to the strategy screen, we can see the Rebs have about 60,000 fewer soldiers in arms. So I don't want to go bankrupt or anything, which I probably will anyway, raising all these new troops. So let's, and building those ironclads. So let's just go back and get going here. No real battles fought this turn other than the naval stuff. Okay. So the Medal of Honor's been created. I don't think that has any impact on the game. Hampton's division is moving a little bit. Or at least they move slightly to the west. Yeah, he's moving up. It's December. It's a Christmas offensive, perhaps. Where's he going to go? East or west? He doesn't really have any chance against McClellan. He, I suppose, could have a chance against against the Department of Pennsylvania. What the hell was that? Something was just being bombarded. Well, looks like he's going to move against the Department of Pennsylvania and General Patterson's force there. With that being said, guys, oh, it's just the day after Christmas. It was the day after Christmas, and all through the lands, Confederates were on the march. I think that's going to do it for this episode. I know we didn't get to see a battle. That may not have been the most exciting thing. We did fight a couple of naval battles, which did not go very well for us. But yeah, I think we'll pick this up with the next battle in the Valley with General Patterson versus General Hampton. And then hopefully after that fight, maybe we'll be able to get to spring where we can campaign again. I really don't want to be marching in the snow. The game, per my understanding, penalizes you pretty harshly if you do that. But we'll see. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'm out.